Hey everyone, I'm David Berkowitz, founder of High Caliber AI and AI Marketers Guild, and I'm really excited to be hosting this event today with Stav Aldag, the co-founder and chief product officer of Knock AI. And at Knock AI, they're tackling an issue that's been one of those things that I know has kept a lot of my clients up at night and something that it's like, just right at the intersection of marketing and sales and just how once you start getting folks to a site and you have marketing starting to do its job, then how do you not lose all of that interest? How do you capture it? I actually didn't even appreciate the scale of how big this problem is and how much opportunity seems to be just sitting on the table until I started seeing some of the data that's coming out of Knock AI uh, well, yes, pun intended, but it knocked me over. And it's striking because it's also one of those things that I think is very easy to say, well, like, yeah, this is, sales could say it's marketing's problem, marketing could say it's sales problem, and no one really owns this and no one's really analyzing it. And I don't think that there are enough of us, and I'll say myself included, have been trained to even look to see if this problem exists and to what extent it exists, and then if there's anything to do about it. Fortunately, Stav and her team have been spending a lot of time thinking about this and trying to do something about this. So you don't need to hear from me, who's just appreciating the scale of the problem. Stav is actually working on addressing it. So I'd love to hear what you think about all this, what you're seeing, and what can actually be done about it.
Thank you, David. Super happy to be here today with you and share the insights that we have based on a lot of data and knowledge we've gathered over the last 2 years. I will share my screen. Just a sec. Okay. So what I want to talk about today is about the modern buyer, the B2B buyer, the one we're trying to sell to, that have dramatically changed over the years and how it affects our go-to-market strategy. So I will start with this. I took a screenshot from Reddit. I think it was 3 months ago. Someone on Reddit wrote, "Help, my website traffic went down." I don't know if you see, but it got like 368 comments.
Hmm.
Everyone started talking about the dramatic problem with the websites as the traffic goes down, less organic traffic. And the CEO of HubSpot said it out loud in the HubSpot inbound conference. And she said, "We are officially in the traffic apocalypse." So we understand that the old playbook is not working anymore. Everything we have used to be doing in order to bring traffic, capture leads, not necessarily work anymore. And the CEO of Salesforce said, "Welcome to the agentic era." So millions, billions of digital workers will replace human people and do all the go-to-market with agents. And it sounds like, wow, like outreach all day, many emails, many LinkedIn, intent-based outreach. It sounds amazing, but no one is talking about the buyer. Everyone talking about the go-to-market will become super efficient. Everything will be AI-based. But what about the buyer? The buyer wants to buy this way to get millions of emails to their inbox and to their LinkedIn and everything. And I want us to focus today about the buyer. We will leave on the side the efficiency of the agents. Let's understand how the buyer have changed and what we can do to close deals faster by understanding how this buyer behaves. So a little bit about myself. My name is Tav. I was for 8 years VP product in many startups, SaaS B2B. Today I'm the co-founder at Knock AI, Nokia is founded 2 years ago. And my main expertise as a product person is product-led growth. What I was focused all the time in my career is understanding how the product users behave, how they think, how they react, how I can make them engaged. And I took all this experience and now I'm going to focus on the go-to-market, and we will talk about how buyers behave in the same glasses that I look as a product person. So this is the inbound funnel. We know very well. It started in 2005 by HubSpot. And it basically means let's attract the people, let them come to the website, make them fill out a form. Then we will enrich them. We will think if they're qualified, and if they're qualified, we will reach out to them. Now, 2005, 20 years ago, I'm starting to think what I did 20 years ago. I was a student in high school, okay? This was before WhatsApp, iMessage, before Slack. I've talked to my friends over the phone, no hybrid work. I went to the office and worked on my computer, went back home, before AI, of course. Everything was so different. No social, no Facebook, 20 years ago. So we take the same funnel of 20 years ago, we're still using it, and this is the results we're seeing. 40% less people coming to the website because they're doing all the nurturing offsite. So they're not coming to the website to learn. From the people who click on the book a meeting or talk to us, only 3% fill out a form. Let's think about it. People have intent to talk to us. Less than 3% of the people fill out the form. 97% dropped, but had intent to talk to us. And from the people who fill out the form, between 1 to 20% reply to the email. So much leakage in the funnel because this funnel was started in 2005 and we are in 2026 actually, not 25, and we have changed. And how have we changed? What changed? So people talk about attention economy. I wanted to bring to you a few examples. So 58% of employees lose between 30 to 60 minutes daily on social, shopping. People sit on the computer, and while they're working, they're shopping on Amazon. I don't know if you do it, but people do it. They're shopping on Amazon or they're on social. They're not just working, they're doing things in parallel. Also, the people check their phone 205 times a day on average. And every time I'm distracted to my phone, people say it takes them 25 minutes to recovery. And why I'm giving you all those insights? Because it helps understand the buyer and the most important statistics people talk about today. That intent lasts 90 seconds, not hours, not days. Intent lasts 90 seconds. So let's think about it. I'm coming to a website. I want to book a demo, or I want to talk to someone. I have intent. I need to fill out a form. Probably I lose context and move to something else after 50, 60 seconds. But you expect me to fill out a form? Remember, I filled out a form. And when you reach out to me on email, I need to remember I was interested in this specific tool. People talk about no-shows today to demo. They said people book demo with me on event, but they don't show up to the demo because they don't even remember they booked this demo. This is how we lose context. We lose context all the time. We lose intent. Intent lasts 90 seconds. And I really, really like to look at B2C. I always get inspired from it. And when we think about e-commerce, what was the main problem 10 years ago? Everyone was talking about cart abandonment. People get to the cart and abandon the cart. E-commerce came with statistics that if people leave the cart, 95% they will not buy the product. And I don't know if you remember, but there were a lot of email marketing, like every time you left the cart, you start getting promotion, come back and you will get a discount and things like that. This problem is not exist anymore. It's not one of the biggest problem in e-commerce. And why? Because they came with a solution, brilliant solution, with click to pay. I'm using Apple Pay and I click on my phone and I use a credit card saved in my phone and I pay right away in my intent. I have an intent to buy and I pay the minute I have the intent. I don't need to fill out a form with my credit card anymore. I don't need to go to my wallet. I pay the minute I have the intent. And by removing this friction, this problem was almost solved. Like much more people get to the cart and buy, which is a really, really good understanding of how people behave today. And another example is DM selling in B2B. Today, many e-commerce companies don't even have a website. They meet people where they are. So they sell you on Instagram. They sell you on Amazon store. They see you and they start chatting with you on Instagram and they sell you there. They don't even have a website. 71% of people expect to message a brand on WhatsApp, on iMessage, on Instagram, doesn't matter. And we see more and more conversion rate using DM selling. This is something super strong in the e-commerce world. But then you will tell me, okay, it's B2C, it's not B2B, different space, but it's not necessarily the truth. Like, if you think about it, we are humans, and we talked about hybrid work. I'm working, and while I'm working, I'm buying on social. I expect still my intent lasts 90 seconds. It doesn't matter if I'm buying a business tool or I'm buying a thing for my kids. And we see it in the statistics. For example, when you suggest to people to skip the form and message instantly to the brand, 89% of people prefer to message. Think about yourself, yeah? But 89% prefer to message the brand right away and not fill out a form and wait for someone to get back to them. Now, DM selling start to be also strong in B2B. We start seeing it, allowing buyers to message the brand. So message them on Slack, message them on LinkedIn. It can be on the pricing page. It can be on G2. It doesn't need to be on the website. Someone see you on G2, you can let them message you instead of filling out a form. It can be on a LinkedIn ad. It can be on a marketplace. Everywhere people have interaction with your brand and might have intent, you let them act on intent. The minute they have an intent, they can message you. But, I assume this is what you think. If I will let everyone message me, I will start getting many messages from people. I don't want to talk to them because they're not my ICP. They don't have the relevant intent, and I don't want to talk to everyone. But this is the huge change with AI. AI can qualify leads in real time. We can use it in the go-to-market. We don't need to talk with anyone. This is an example. Someone messaged you from LinkedIn, from Slack. Immediately you can get all the information about this person, their role, their CRM status, attribution data, intent data, company info, origin country, everything you need to know and you need in order to decide if you want to speak with this person or you don't want to speak with this person. So you can do all the qualification with AI. You even don't need to speak with this person. And if it's relevant, only if this person is relevant to talk with a human, you can add the person to the chat. But the real difference is now we are not doing inbound led outbound. We're not saying to someone, you have an intent, fill out a form, I'll try to do outbound on you later in email. We keep the person in the same thread. Thought I heard something? Okay. We keep the person in the same thread of chat. So if you message me on Slack, I keep chatting with you on Slack. A human gets into the Slack, but the chat is asynchronous. I can message you on my time. I can see the whole history and it keeps going. And this is an example from a customer of Knock. Comparing Knock to a form and just see the results, what happened when you use DM selling, when you remove forms from the funnel. Immediately, all the statistic goes higher. The conversion rate from click to engagement is much, much higher. The conversion rate from engagement to qualified for opportunity. And also the sales cycle is much, much faster. When people talk to you on their preferred messaging app, they reply to you much faster. The conversation is running. It's not like email that you need to wait every time. So if we say intent lasts 90 seconds, the secret is when someone have intent, we need to capture them right away, not let them go away. Because if they're leaving your website and you need to chase them after, you move to an outbound sequence, probably most chances you lost the deal. If someone has intent, you need to capture them right away. Intent led to inbound led pipeline, not led outbound. And when you compare this approach to what we were used to, the traditional approach of filling out a form, you see totally different results. So the new funnel to the modern buyer need to think about how people buy. They will not wait for you to get back to them. They will switch contacts, they will move to a competitor, they will probably close with the one that replied to them fast. Switch from forms to click to DM, let people message you, be accessible, let people reach out to you, let them say what they want the minute they have the intent. Let the AI qualify the lead. You don't need to talk to everyone. The AI can do the enrichment, the identity detection, the intent detection automatically. Then you can add the relevant sales rep if the lead is relevant to the same thread. You are not telling the buyer to switch channel. The buyer stays in the same channel they started. And then you can book a meeting and it's an asynchronous conversation on messaging, on the preferred messaging app the person is using. So the thing I want to really, I hope you will take from it, and it doesn't matter if it's Knock or something else, we need to think about how people buy today, how people decide from intent to purchase, how they look to how you make them start a relationship with you, how you capture them. If you think they will wait for you to get back to them, if you think they will fill out a form, it's not how people buy today. I really recommend to replace the form and find an alternative, and to capture leads when their intent is high, and don't shift them inbound leads to outbound. That's it.
So, Stav, thanks for all this. There's a lot I want to follow up on, and there's some stuff that I'd love to hear any questions from those here, and we can just make the best use of everyone's time because Stav's just been a great source of info for me too. What so one thing that I'm sure will come. So it's like if someone today hadn't seen this and is just thinking of like, okay, I want to go and add more live response to my website. Uh, First thing that probably comes to mind for people is a chatbot. Right? Uh, how like how do you see chatbots playing out now in contributing good, bad, or ugly to how funnels work?
So great question. I think it's really depend on the goal. I think chatbots are really good as support bots in a product experience. I'm in the product, I have a question, I need a quick answer. That's great.
Mm,
But when we think about funnel of GTM in B2B, it's relationship, it's a long funnel. And what we want to do first is to make sure we capture the person. If you ask a salesperson, if you are talking to a buyer on iMessage to a
mm,
prospect or an email, what are the chances for you to close the deal? Probably on iMessage, you build relationship. We want to bring relevant prospect as fast as possible to a place when we have a direct communication, in a place they will reply to us, and not in a inbox full of, many AI emails you're getting from sellers. So the thing is, chatbots are still located in the specific place you are. For example, the website. Once you leave the website, you still need to go to an outbound flow. We don't want to go to an outbound flow, because once we do it, most chances, more than 90%, the lead will not reply to us anymore.
And I mean, it's got to be striking for some people too, because like you think about this 90-second window, and it's like, well, like B2B buyers, one would think are more highly motivated, right? You tend to have fewer options. You tend to have like higher need. If you're looking for CRM software or SEO help or all of these things, procurement tech, whatever it is that a B2B buyer might be looking for, then it's like it's probably like some budget on the table. It could be hundreds of dollars, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, but there's something there, and it's something that someone probably needs to get their job done. And so I like I to me it's striking that like I get that people are people, and I don't just become like this different person when I'm behind Zoom versus when I'm playing with my kid in the living room. But that is still like to me that sounds jarring. Like just that it could really be that that bad of a problem.
So I will tell you this. First, about there are not many solutions. I think we don't understand, but today the biggest competitor is do it yourself. SaaS become more easy. So buyers can also think, okay, maybe I can do something myself.
Mhm.
So I think the competition in B2B becomes more and more and more similar to B2C. And we need to think more like how we capture lead on intent and try to make them try to make it a deal. Another thing, I think, like especially in B2B, people want to feel like a VIP. They
Mhm.
want to feel like people talk to them, invest in them time, care about them. I think it also will be rare, by the way. I think when you're throwing bots on people all the time,
Mhm.
I think people will look for the relationship, for the service, for talking to. So, statistic shows the first one usually, we also hear it from our customers, by the way, if they get to talk to the person, they're the first one compared to their competitor that talk to the buyer, to the
Mhm.
prospects, they will probably close the deal. It is speed to lead. It's speed to lead in a way that if relationship is built with your company, you have more and more chances to close the deal versus competitors.
Nice. Okay. Uh, that makes sense. We got some great questions coming in. I'll start sharing them. Uh, so Daniel's wondering, how are you seeing companies differentiate here? Feels like the customer-facing chatbot is driving commoditization more than convenience.
So I think experience, first of all, is competitive advantage.
Hmm.
Customer buying experience will become the competitive advantage. At the end of the day, comparing between features, it will be hard to get an advantage there.
Uh-huh.
And I think the experience on the go-to market for a prospect will become one of the main competitive advantage. And if you are able to create, and we see it with our customers,
Hmm.
okay, they're talking with their prospect and they're saying, I'm comparing few solutions, but like they keep going with the person who talked to them, and the deals are open and closed, and because of the experience. They just met the people where they are. They gave them the right answers. They gave them the best treatment, and it's a huge advantage.
So, okay, this is great. Dan, if you have any follow-up questions, let us know. David's asked a question that I know is near and dear to you. Do you have any data, and specifically that shows drop off, if any, of the AI-powered qualification step, and whether or not this is higher or lower than when a human is introduced sooner rather than later?
Yeah. So great question. I really like data, and we're seeing a lot of it. I will say first that what we're seeing that really surprised me, the fact that it's very common to cross vendors, that in security, in dev tools, in selling to like every customer we're seeing a lot of cases where actually more than 80% of people who click the book a demo button drop the funnel. I think this one was huge because I said, wow, like people all the time talking about demand, how I can bring more demand, how I can make better content, make more people, but you have demand and you lost it. Like it's crazy. You had people that come to the website, clicked on the book a demo and walk away. If you will take your existing demand and convert it to opportunities, you will get much more revenue. What from your existing demand, you don't need more demand. So I think this is one thing. Our focus is not on the right place. And the second thing is what regarding the human involved in the chat. So we started with an agent. We started with a bot. What we found out that people, the number one question people have is, can I talk to a human? Can I talk to a human? This, everyone, we're talking about AI, ChatGPT, everything, everyone wanted to talk to a human. And they usually ask questions about pricing, about like really high intent questions. They're not asking like what your company does. They know what your company does. They research about you on ChatGPT. They're coming with very, very high intent questions and want to talk to a human. What we're doing is you need to set expectations. If you want to get more information about them before you add a human, tell them, I want to connect you to the right human. I'm an agent. I will connect you to the right person. This is why I need the info. Always what is in it for them. Always give them a VIP treatment. If they understand the value for them, they share a lot of info. They share everything and they know they will get connected to a human. So yes, people look to be connected to humans. Still, it didn't change. Maybe it will change. Not yet. When people buy $100K solution, they want to know a human will talk to them and will treat
Yeah.
them well.
Well, I mean, Paul brings up a crazy scenario, but maybe not that crazy because we all have issues with ghosting on all sides of the market. And he mentioned he's booked two demos or appointments through web form the last week, and the vendor didn't show up. So even that comfort level for the buyer, right? Like, and that is there someone on the other end who's like a sentient being who can actually help me and might not show up to their own meeting. I mean, like, but we've all been ghosted by people, you know, in personal life and professional life, like jobs we're applying for, and like the recruiter or the hiring manager just does like things like this. They do happen. I mean, Paul's bringing up like real world scenarios, and so yeah, if you're spending, five, 10, $50,000 on something, like you you want to know there's someone there who's going to take care of you, right?
Yeah, totally.
And so Sally has a point that she's bringing up that I want to revisit and maybe even reframe a little bit because she was bringing up the kind of like consumer context for Apple Pay and all that. And I get that you weren't talking about this literally, right? Like that like buy now buttons, unless it's like a really low end SaaS product, like buy now buttons, for considered B2B purchases, we can even differentiate, right? For like mid to enterprise purchases, typically. No one's going to just go and buy that off the shelf. And she mentions an interesting stat from the Forrester B2B forum that an average B2B sale goes through 18 people. Uh, and that doesn't surprise me in a lot of organizations. And that means if it's average, that there's some organizations where that's going to be like 50, right? I mean, so how, so I guess it's like, how much can you reduce friction? How far can you take that? And are there even other steps where some of that friction can be reduced to shorten that deal cycle?
Sally says 18 people. I'm just thinking, oh my God, how much leakage It's still there. Like every person added, every new context, every new email, people can ghost you. That's the problem. And I think this is why I really believe in messaging, because messaging are collaborative. You can do Slack message in a channel. Many people can get invited, like we think about Slack Connect that really works like in more, not in the top of the funnel, but after, but the ability to add more people and doing a collaborative conversation and adding more people from, I think the way of communication needs to be more collaborative channels and not like the one-to-one email and then wait and then one-to-one and then one filling out a form and you even don't know it's the same person and all the time starting the same conversation of who you are, what you're talking about. It has to be continuous. It has to be relevant. It has to be with context. It has to be asynchronous, and you need to see the whole history of the conversation.
Hmm.
This is what we are used to do today, not like the disconnected communication.
And, and so, uh, what like at what point also does this really start help? Like if you're a B2B business owner, then at what point like do you ditch the form essentially on day one? Do you wait till you have some actual demand that starts accumulating on your site? Like what when do you really even start thinking about something like this?
So what I think is that, we have different type of customers, like really, really big ones and more like at the beginning of their go-to market. And it really depends. I think you can, first of all, test things, try a button, as I showed you, like skip the form, DM us and keep the form and try both. If you ask me, I would go to a direction of think about yourself, go to your own website and try to buy. And think
Mhm.
about the experience. Would you buy from your website or not? Would you buy when you see an ad and go to a landing page and buy or not? Let's think about ourselves as the prospect
Mhm.
and the experience. I think it can start with very, very small things. So many people, marketers I talk to, even don't analyze, like they don't look at how many people drop the funnel
Mhm.
after clicks the book a demo button. They only look at the opportunity created, not on the lost ones, not on the leakage. And I'm all the time saying the leakage is the opportunity, the leakage is the money, not the ones that you created. All the things that you lost are the ones that you could have converted. So I think starting to analyze more, what are you missing in the funnel, who dropped from the funnel, and what you can do to fix that, and fix the experience step over step. It's how I would start.
And to David's point, I think one thing that would be fascinating seeing more of, and I know you're starting to amass some of this, is as far as the data goes, right? Like, for me as a buyer, for instance, if I go to a page and I see chat now with a real human kind of thing, or something that I know there's going to be someone on the other hand seeing it, or let's say a calendar thing, like schedule at your pace, right? And presumably some of this is just personal preference. Um, but I'd be curious to see how those preferences are and if one of those actually, like how conversions look with those preferences. Because like some of it is you want to go and accommodate buyers with what they want, but sometimes what the buyer wants doesn't actually help you convert. So it's
I
like
agree.
that, it's like that Henry Ford model. Like, do you want to just, you know, build the faster horse because it's what people are asking for? Maybe not.
I agree, but I do think, David, that if you're more listen to the customer and how they want to convert,
Yeah.
it will probably work more. People are now more concentrated on, I will be efficient. I will send many emails. The prospect doesn't want your emails. I will send them millions of emails. So I think we need to start listening more to the buyer and giving option. By the way, people really like to feel like in control
Yeah.
of their buying experience. And
Yes.
I'll give an example. If you let them choose if they can book a meeting, fill out the form, or a DM, they feel control, they feel they decide, and they will be more engaged. If you will tell them, fill out the form, I don't tell you who will contact you. I don't know if someone will contact you. One day, when someone will contact you, they don't feel in control. So they don't want to share their private information. So give an option is great. I really believe in it.
I mean, do you know how many times I like register for white papers and I use like a Walmart.com email address or something, and I'll like
Of
make up the
course.
name of a baseball player or something, and I
I'm
like
Steve Jobs every time.
like I know I'm gonna see the PDF as soon as I submit the form. So it's like, yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with this. Speaking of old school, let's actually go before 2005 for a sec, and even what was potentially working very well then, because in the chat we have some discussion about preferences toward the phone. And I'm curious if you're seeing that play out in terms of what B2B buyers want, and are B2B sellers willing to give that to them?
Listen, phone is really interesting. Why?
Okay.
Because we started a research before we started Knock to understand buyers and how they want people to B2B buyers, how they want to buy. And the main thing everyone's saying, don't you ever call my private phone number. It's my private phone number. It's not a business phone, and I don't want you to call me. I know it works sometimes. I know it works, but I also heard a lot of people really like have like the way they think about the brand. If they have good thinking about the brand, now that they call them on their when they were with the family and they didn't know who called, because who calls anymore? Like if someone calls me today, it's emergency from my boy's school and I need to go pick him up. No one calls me today. So if someone calls you and it's a seller, sometimes it doesn't feel so comfortable. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm not saying phone doesn't work, but also it really depends on the type of audience.
Yeah, because this is also, I feel like there's this opportunity, for you to say, well, like, okay, like, just all this clutter that we've amassed from like the Facebook era now into the, all the mobile distractions and into this AI era. It's like, well, are there any good things that we've forgotten that,
Hmm.
yeah, that
Face to face, face to
Face
face.
face to face, right?
Really, I think it will become the strongest go-to-market motion. I feel people really want it now because of the AI. They want a personal connection, but this is what I feel.
Yeah. Um, so so Charlie wanted to take it back to the present. I mean, hopefully face to face is the present now. But from your actual and latest experience and data, especially in B2B SaaS, would you say that reaching out to actual users is better than reaching out to the ones who will pay for the service, like the C-suite? I guess it's like the buyer versus the approver kind of idea. Yeah.
I think reach them all. If you saw intent from one of them, if you understand that one of them in the team is
Hmm.
looking for your solution, the right time in the specific times they have an intent, reach out to all the decision makers or relevant people and tell them, I see someone from your team reached out to us and was looking for our solution. Do you want me to give you more info? But I will reach out to all of them,
Yeah.
but with the intent, with the right intent.
Hmm. Yeah, because that's always like, uh, with, even with some of that scoring and intel, like at some point is some of that even passed on in terms of like what mindset to be in here, like because it can be just such a different conversation if you know that you're dealing with the with the person who's going to actually be using this but doesn't have purchase authority, versus someone who is never going to touch the product but
Yeah.
is going to be signing the paycheck, right?
I
The
just think it's
invoice.
really, really
Yeah.
hard to predict
Mhm.
sometimes. Like
Okay.
it's the roles, I see it all the times, are changing. Like you think this role is not the user, but in this company, he is the user. I think it changes. I think intent is really, really strong. But I think to go to all the decision makers.
Do,
And
does that intent even include things like will the seller, for instance, know if someone had come to a pricing page before going and contacting them? Like, yeah,
yeah, I think that the most important thing to invest today, in, if we're not talking about the buyer, but the vendor,
yeah.
it's identity. If we think about continuous identity, like today you see so many contacts in the CRM fill out a form because they were looking for a job, but you
Hmm.
thought they are prospects. They're not a prospect.
Hmm.
They have great firmographic data, great company, but they fill out a form because other reasons. And there are records in their CRM, and you spend time chasing them. So we need the ability to divide intent, and we
Hmm.
need the ability to have identity. Today, 90% of sessions are still anonymized. Like you don't know who they are.
Hmm.
Maybe you met them in an event, but you think the first time you met them is on the website. So
Hmm.
I think investing because of AI in really, really good infrastructure of identity, it's one of the most like important strategic things for the go-to market.
And I mean, I wonder about the overcoming objection side on your end, right? Like say, I'm the CMO, CRO, CEO of a B2B company. Uh,
Yeah.
I've had a forum on my site for as long as my company's been around, 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
20 years, it doesn't matter. Okay. Then like to me, even if I see all your data and I'm like, wow, yeah, uh, to me, getting rid of the form is like getting rid of my security blanket. Like I know this blanket's always there for me. It's been there for me from day one. Uh, I can't part ways with my security. Like, do some insist on keeping it around? Like, is there even any value of like once you have something that say the data is very clear to them, like the this like live qualification and routing to a human immediately just works better. Like your data is crystal clear for them. Is there any
So
value in keeping that?
yeah, so I will tell you what. First, our customers, most of them removed form completely.
Okay.
Okay, after they saw the results and they don't have forms. But I would say the main objection is how marketing are measured. Okay, I see many marketers today still, the most important thing for them is to keep the visitor in the website. They're
Hmm.
telling me, wow, you're taking the visitor out of the website?
Hmm.
No, I need to keep them in the website. They have to be there. And I think the change in mindset, if you think about revenue and not on the times they will spend on the page, we were used to measure the performance on the number of page views people are in the website and everything like this.
Hmm.
And what I'm saying is we don't understand things have changed. People don't come for nurturing to your website. They did the nurturing. We
Yeah.
become more B2C. They come to convert. And we sit with the questions they ask on Slack or on LinkedIn. They come super high intent. They know exactly what they want. They want the answers. They don't ask what your company does. Okay. It's not the
Hmm.
questions we're seeing. So I think this shift doesn't happen to all marketers
Hmm.
yet. Many of them still measure themselves on MQLs and number of page views the people that came to the website still doing. I think it will change. It will take time, but I think marketers become more and more revenue focused, and the ones
Hmm.
who do become revenue focused don't really care about the website.
Hmm.
They care about converting people from places with demand. They invest in off-site channels, converting them from them, and it's a shift. It
Yeah.
takes time.
No, that's yeah, that's helpful because I mean these objections have got it's like it's again you're dealing with the psychology of all kinds of buyers and sellers here. So I think it's fascinating just how much this tech sits in the middle of a lot of that, right? Like, we're going back to just what makes us people. Um, so what are the questions do others have? Oh, right on cue here. So how does content marketing like on site and off site, like in social, change in this scenario? Great question, Sally. Thank you.
I like this question. I had a conversation with Webflow on a
Mm-hmm.
vision of where the marketing is going.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I really liked how they look at the future, and what I learned from them is they're saying the content on the website, it's for agents. This is
Mm-hmm.
for agents. You build content now on the website for the agents. The
Mm-hmm.
conversion flow is for the buyers. The human who will come to the website will need to convert fast. And you
Mm-hmm.
build very, very sophisticated way to convert them because they come with intent.
Mm-hmm.
And all the content on the website is built for the agents. This is how your website will be divided.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting. And I think content off site should be more converting there. You don't need to bring people to the website. You can convert them from exactly like directly from LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they need to come to the website? So I think it will be, I see more button of the funnel content, more direct. People know what they want. Yeah.
And so just with some of these trends, and I mean, Daniel's even mentioning like not the is thinking Webflow can't survive the shift, but even to something you were discussing earlier about this crazy time we're in, where someone like me with no coding experience and no product development experience in earnest can go on ChatGPT Codex or Claude Code and try to see, can I build this myself? Uh, and and we seem to be getting at the point where things like that are more and more viable, right? Like, but I mean, how concerned are you about this, and how concerned should your customers be about this?
First, I'm very excited about this. I really excited that people become builders as a product person. Amazing.
Okay.
I think it's very important to not to buy millions of tools that every tool is a feature.
Mm,
Start like I think the consolidation will happen. People
mm,
look for more things that do many, many things today in the marketing stack. If you take tools, many tools doing one thing. This is doing for me intent. This is doing for me that. This does a chat widget. I think more consolidation. And once you have consolidation, also we talked about the identity and the data. You
mm,
will get more consolidated data. Everything speaks with one another. You have continuity. You have like I think the aggregation of tools will also make the data much more accurate.
mm,
Think about your CRM. You have millions of third-party tools bringing you many, many, many information. A lot of mess. I think something good will happen. The quality will be higher, and
mm.
also the expectations from tools will be much higher. I love it. I think the standards should be much, much high in the go-to-market stack. It's amazing, very exciting.
Yeah. Uh, well, I mean, it's exciting for me too. I mean, it's just I've never had anything like this. And even, I mean, yesterday I was presenting at an event and I had coded a game for designed for attendees to play, right? Like,
Amazing.
like I never would have done that before. And it was the kind of game that I used to play on a graphing calculator and when I was in high school. So dating myself here. But it's like, wait, like I can do this now. I probably can't build your product. Probably don't want to try to do that better, but for some things that are just can solve a quick need, absolutely.
Yeah, this
Um,
is amazing.
any other questions while we still have a few with Stav here? Because these, by the way, the questions you've all been sharing have been fantastic. So yeah, this is a lot of fun, and there's going to be way more info Stav will be able to share with you on this, and anyone who wants to geek out further on this, you're coming to the right place. So,
Yeah, feel free also to DM me. I'm happy to give more info, more statistics, anything you want to learn about from what we learned at Knock. We'll be happy to share.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, I think we're set with the questions for now. Yeah, anyone anyone has any follow-up needs, like obviously you all know where to reach me. Can connect you with Stav as well and see what her teams do with Knock AI. It's really exciting. I am yeah, and I'm just so eager to keep learning more about this because this is a part of the funnel that we don't think about enough. And like, I mean, I was working at Dentsu 15 years ago where they were trying to change the whole like awareness to action funnel, and they had all these like different acronyms and things like that. But even in that whole time, I haven't really seen many folks try to act on that. It was just like it was just a slide in a PowerPoint that made me sound really smart when I would present their
Mhm.
work at another conference. But it's not like I was, yeah, my solution was like, oh, just like post more on social media or something like that. It wasn't all that innovative. So this is terrific. Thank you, Stav. Thanks everyone for joining, and hope to see you all again soon.